Get ready to see blood boil and tempers flare as umps take center stage, making calls that'll leave you shaking your head. Fans lose it, managers explode, and players, they see red. These 20 MLB games ruined by umpires turned into chaos thanks to some of the worst calls in baseball history. Let's dive into baseball's wildest moments of home plate injustice. Before we jump into these epic moments, smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you live for wild MLB action.
2 out. That has built up from a night where the hitters have not been happy with the zone, really on either side. Muncy still barking back at Doug Eddings, and he's now been thrown out.
In a tense showdown on September 10, 2020, between the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, Max Muncy finally hit his limit after his 5th strikeout of the night. Already 0 for 5, frustration was boiling over. After a few heated words with umpire Doug Eddings, Muncy got the boot. The crowd couldn't believe it. One of the Dodgers' key players ejected in the middle of the game. It was the final blow in an already rough night for Muncy. But don't go anywhere. Things will only get crazier when umpires go from making calls to starting fights with pitchers. Number 19.
3rd inning. Boy, look at this. Wow. Marches toward A.J. Burnett. Have you seen that recently?
No.
From an umpire charging after the pitcher?
A.J. Burnett was locked in on the mound when things turned unexpectedly. Out of nowhere, umpire Eric Cooper stormed toward him, finger pointing, shouting right in Burnett's face. The entire stadium froze. An ump going after a pitcher? That's unheard of. Burnett didn't back down, locking eyes with Cooper as shouts erupted from the Blue Jays dugout. Players and coaches couldn't believe what they were seeing. Cooper made his final call, leaving Burnett and his team stunned. The crowd knew they'd just witnessed something rare, and the tension was electric. Number 18.
I don't know whether
John Zimmer was kicked out, Harry. And he doesn't believe getting the early thumb without ever leaving the dugout. I can't believe it myself, but that's exactly what happened.
In 1989, Yankees bench coach Don Zimmer took things to a whole new level when he squared off with umpire Joe Brinkman. It was the 7th inning, and after a controversial call at first base, Zimmer wasn't holding back. He made sure Brinkman knew exactly how he felt, but the ump wasn't backing down either. When Brinkman tossed Zimmer from the game, that's when things got wild. At 58 years old, Zimmer still had plenty of fire left, charging right at Brinkman, fists ready. Players and coaches had to rush in and break it up. It was like a scene from an action movie. And just when you think you've seen it all in baseball, moments like this remind you anything can happen. 17.
For his pitches either. Corcoran goes down looking, 1 out. 4th strikeout for Wilson. Corcoran doesn't like it. Angel Hernandez doesn't like the fact that Corcoran doesn't like it.
He gave him some pretty good leeway. And that kind of conversation means you're going to be thrown out before long. This pitch got the inside part of the plate.
Carlos Corcoran? Yeah, he wasn't happy. After striking out, he threw his bat down like he was trying to make a statement. Then he locked eyes with Bo Porter and things got spicy. Suddenly they're shouting at each other. What's going on here? The whole stadium went quiet, probably thinking, are they about to throw down? Corcoran's face went from red to about to explode, while Porter tried and failed to calm him down. The rest of the players just stood there like, is this really happening right now? Number 16.
And now Molina has been ejected from this game after throwing his helmet. They've got to calm him down. Molina out. And so is Matheny. He's going to get thrown out here in a second.
May 15, 2012 at Rogers Center, Brett Lowry had enough. Umpire Bill Miller kept calling strikes and Lowry couldn't take it anymore. In a fit of pure rage, he threw his helmet and the whole stadium watched in disbelief as it bounced right off Miller's hip. Did Lowry take it too far? Probably, but hey, baseball has its moments. Number 15.
In there for a strike, and now David is angry. Here comes John Farrell to get David away, and I think he got to him just in the nick of time, David. Oh, now Farrell has been thrown out of the game. David Ortiz hopping Matt Hanley. Ramirez is over to move him away.
Everyone in the stadium could feel the tension rising when David Ortiz locked eyes with the umpire. John Farrell sprinted out of the dugout trying to stop what was about to happen, but it was too late. The ump had already made up his mind. Ortiz was out of there. As Ortiz fumed, Hanley Ramirez jumped in trying to hold him back. The count was 3-2. The game was on the line and nobody knew what was coming next. Are you frustrated by these terrible calls? Let's make a change together. Share this video to spread awareness and demand better umpiring. Hit that like button and subscribe for more baseball content. Number 14.
behind the rubber. Behind the rubber. He's got to go behind. He did not go behind the rubber. He didn't listen to him. He did not. Oh, I ain't listening to him, Eddie. Oh, that's bull. Behind the rubber. Oh, bullshit. Bullshit yourself. You're here, and this crew is here just to fuck us. Yeah. Boom. Good.
September 7th, 1980, Earl Weaver wasn't having any of it. Orioles manager, more like a storm chaser, because he charged onto the field at Memorial Stadium fuming over a questionable call on Mike Flanagan. Umpire Bill Howler, secretly rocking a mic, stood his ground as Weaver let loose. The two went at it, yelling, red-faced, and showing the world how to have a proper baseball meltdown. This epic argument is forever locked in baseball history, thanks to that hidden mic. But just when you thought you'd seen it all, more chaos was brewing at Yankee Stadium. Number 13.
The reason why it's in, Michael. Wait a minute, here we go!
And he is thrown out.
And Joe is gesturing that ball was on the ground.
There always seems to be fun when Laz Diaz is involved.
And you know what, Michael? That pitch was a ball, definitely, as we saw the replay. And Joe Girardi knows his team has not been hitting with runners in scoring position.
The crowd at Yankee Stadium was left wide-eyed as Joe Girardi exploded out of the dugout. Umpire Laz Diaz's strike call, let's just say it wasn't sitting well with Girardi. He charged onto the field, his face a mix of rage and frustration. Before he could even get a word out, bam! Diaz's thumb shot up, ejected. But that didn't stop Girardi. He screamed, pointed, and even kicked some dirt for good measure. Players watched as their manager let months of frustration out, and the fans, they were loving every second of it. Number 12.
Would be a double play if they do. That Soto did not allow Neto to make the play. We saw this play the other day. The umpires are going to talk it over. This was in Chicago where the game ended on this play.
Yankees versus Angels, and things were heating up over what seemed like a simple fly ball. Juan Soto was headed back to second when the ump ruled he got in the way. Yankees manager Aaron Boone, he wasn't having it. Boone charged out and started arguing with the ump like his life depended on it. The back and forth got louder, and before you knew it, boom, Boone was tossed from the game. That's nothing compared to what happened next. Number 11.
George Brett has just homered, and Billy Martin and the Yankees want the bat. Look at Martin.
Well, what they're talking about, Frank, is that he's got too much pine tar, and you've got to have a certain amount of distance from the trademark of the bat and the pine tar.
And Nettles is leaving the field as if the game is over.
July 24th, 1983, Yankee Stadium became a battlefield in the infamous Royals versus Yankees showdown. George Brett thought his home run had won the game, but the umpires ruled his bat was illegal due to too much pine tar. Brett lost it. He stormed out of the dugout, yelling at the umps with his arms flailing. The Royals were furious. When the call stood, things got even more heated. Both teams were soon pushing and shoving. To this day, people still talk about the pine tar incident, a moment that's etched in baseball history. Are you loving the excitement of these intense matchups on the field? Don't miss a moment of the action. Hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for all the latest updates from the thrilling world of MLB. Stay in the loop and join the fun. Number 10.
Crowd's been crazy all night. I wonder if it affected their communication.
They're calling it an infield fly rule. Wow. One umpire did. That's why Freddie Gonzalez is out.
At Turner Field, what should have been a routine fly ball turned into complete chaos. The Braves couldn't make the catch, filling the bases, but then the ump threw everyone off by calling the batter out even though the ball had dropped. That call, it didn't sit well with anyone. Braves manager Freddie Gonzalez lost it, arguing that the player wasn't in the right spot to make the catch. The fans took it to another level, throwing bottles, cans, even a mini liquor bottle onto the field. It got pretty sketchy with the players and umps dodging flying objects. People still talk about that wild day, but trust me, it wasn't the only time players got fired up over bad calls. Number 9.
Out at first, and they're calling it an inning-ending double play. Jimmy Williams comes sprinting out to talk to the second base umpire, Tim Tashita. And I have to say, from up here, it looked like Knobloch missed off from it.
He missed it. Was he called out because he was out of the baseline trying to avoid the tag? He did not look like he was out of the baseline to me.
October 17th, 1999, Yankee Stadium saw a game-changing mistake that Red Sox fans will never forget. Chuck Knobloch went to tag Jose Offerman, but completely missed. Yet, somehow, the umpire called Offerman out, ending the inning and crushing Boston's chances. The stadium went wild. Yankees fans cheered, Red Sox fans lost it, and Boston's players were all over the ump. But the call stood. One wrong call, and it became one of the most talked-about moments in baseball history. It's a prime example of how one mistake can flip an entire game upside down. Number 8.
Pass ball, and Donaldson, no. And the Rays are coming out of the dugout, and somebody's going to get thrown out, and it's Joe Madden. As soon as they said no swing, Madden came storming out of the dugout. He got all the way under the grass, and then Quinn Walcott threw him out.
August 4th, 2014, Tropicana Field, bottom of the 10th, and tempers were running high. Rays manager Joe Maddon had seen enough and charged at the first base umpire, his face practically on fire with anger. The crowd fed off his fury as Maddon let the ump have it. Finally, the ump had enough, threw up his hand and tossed Maddon from the game. Classic Maddon. As the dust settled and Maddon made his exit, one thing was clear: this game was far from over. Number 7.
And the Barnstormers win. This is going to precipitate one heck of an argument with the first base umpire, P.J. McConville. The Rockers are all over him. The Barnstormers celebrate the win on the fielder's choice grounder. We have an ejection. That is Logan Morrison, the first baseman, who has been thrown out, and they are doing everything they can to keep him away from the umpiring crew. So 2 nights in a row, it has been crazy. And now Nate Caldwell indicating that he felt bumped into.
Lancaster Barnstormers snagged a tight 3-2 win thanks to a clutch fielder's choice by Devin Torrance. But the real drama came after the game when Logan Morrison blew up over a close call at first base. His argument got heated fast, and the next thing you know, he's ejected. Things escalated when umpire Nate Caldwell claimed Morrison bumped him, and even the Barnstormers manager Ross Peoples got tossed in the chaos. Think that was wild? Just wait until we hit the top 5. Number 6.
Look at this.
Oh,
look at this. Lester, his body language has not been good. He's very frustrated.
And Andy Fletcher's trying to get. I've never seen this. Have you?
No, and David's got a chance of being ejected here.
June 25th, 2015, things got heated fast at Wrigley Field when Cubs pitcher John Lester wasn't happy with a walk call to A.J. Ellis. Lester, clearly frustrated, let the home plate ump have it, and the two went back and forth in a fiery exchange. Tensions were through the roof, and it looked like things could boil over at any second. It was one of those moments where you could feel the frustration from both sides. Loving the fiery showdowns that have everyone on their feet? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Number 5. July 22nd, 1986, a routine steal turned into chaos at third base. Eric Davis collided with Ray Knight, and tempers flared instantly. In a matter of seconds, both benches cleared as players stormed the field, turning the game into an all-out brawl. It was a standoff that took everyone by surprise. This kind of heated action, it's like history repeating itself in baseball. Tensions on the field can explode in an instant. Number 4.
Doesn't agree with that call. And Tommy Sant gets between him and the first base umpire, and out comes Lloyd McClendon again. Jose Hernandez moving far to his left, behind second.
June 26, 2001, Pirates manager Lloyd McClendon had seen enough. After a bad call at first base, he stormed onto the field furious and argued with the umpire. But things escalated fast and McClendon was ejected from the game. Now, here's where it gets wild. Before leaving the field, McClendon didn't just walk away. Nope, he grabbed the entire first base and carried it off the field with him. The crowd couldn't believe it. The Pirates went on to win the game in extra innings, but McClendon's bold move is what made this day legendary. Number 3.
Judge not thrilled with that call. And he gets thrown out. I think that's the first time he's ever been thrown out.
Judge, known for his calm demeanor, hit his breaking point after a questionable strike call. This time, Judge didn't hold back. He got right in the ump's face, and things escalated fast. The result, his first career ejection. The stadium couldn't believe what they were seeing. Judge, of all people, getting tossed. Number 2.
Lee Wyer's calling time. Bruce Fleming is calling time now at first base. They got some jawing going on. Billy Martin and Fleming. Oh, he threw Martin out. Here we go. Bottom of the 9th inning, and now Fleming is going after with Martin.
October 21st, 1976, Yankees manager Billy Martin squared off with umpire Bruce Fleming in the middle of a critical World Series game. With everything on the line, Martin wasn't going to let a questionable call slide. The argument got heated fast, but it wasn't just Martin's temper that flared. Umpires' egos were on full display. And if you think this is intense, just wait until our final moment. Number 1.
Hey, outside call. No. The umpire, Joe West, makes the call. The Hawk says, hey, that's on the outside of the plate. I don't go that far on my holidays. Look what happens here. Now, he argues, and I mean, if you're going to dispute the called third strike, you get tossed immediately, right? No. Mr. West says, talk a bit. I'm going to throw you out anyways. Go ahead. Say something. You're out of here. Oh, he gets bumped. He baited him. Follow. Yes, absolutely.
Here it is, the #1 wildest moment. A questionable strike call set off Chicago Cubs legend Andre Dawson like never before. Normally calm, Dawson completely lost it, charging at the umpire in a rage that even his teammates and coaches couldn't contain. This meltdown went down in history as one of the most intense player-umpire confrontations ever. Umpire mistakes have shaped some of the most unforgettable moments in baseball. From blown calls to heated confrontations, sure, they can mess with the game's beauty, but they also keep things unpredictable. Love them or hate them, it's all part of what makes baseball exciting. If you enjoyed this dive into umpire blunders, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more wild MLB moments, and let us know in the comments which call had you shaking your head the most. We'll catch you in the next video.